Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses as we continue with Part 26, Tomb Treasures Part 2, the worship of Mithras and Serapis, from the Gnostics and Their Remains, Ancient and Medieval by C.W. King. Tomb Treasures. Serapis, in his double character of God of Death and God of Riches, has been the subject of preceding chapters. The present one shall be devoted to the consideration of the most striking method by which human superstition sought to turn to account the two ideas. To propitiate the manes by placing his most valuable or beloved effects in the sepulchre of the defunct dates probably from the very institution of interment, but the account now to be cited is the most interesting of any on record, owing to the circumstances of the time, person and place. It is literally translated from the description of an eyewitness, the earliest of Italian antiquaries, M.L. Fauno, given in his Antichità de Roma, page 154, published 1553. In February 1544, in the chapel of the King of France, which is now being built in St. Peter's after the plan of Julius II, the workmen, in excavating, came upon a marble coffin, which, from the things found therein, was clearly known to be the tomb of Maria, wife of the Emperor Honorius. Of the body, indeed, there was nothing left except the teeth, the hair, and the two leg bones. From the robes, which were interwoven with gold, and from the head tire, which was cloth of silk and gold, there was extracted by smelting more than 40 pounds weight of the purest gold. Suetius says 36, but makes the total of all the gold found to amount to the above weight when they were melted down by order of Paul III to be applied to the building fund of the cathedral. Within the coffin lay a silver box, 1.5 foot long by 8 inches deep, with many articles inside, the which we shall proceed particularly to describe. There were vases and different things in rock crystal, 30 in all, big and little, amongst which were 2 cups, as it were, not very large, the one round, the other oval-shaped, with most beautiful figures in intaglio of middling depth, mezzo-cavo, and a snail shell, nautilus, likewise in crystal, fitted up for a lamp in fine gold, with which in the first place the mouth of the shell is overlaid, there being only left a hole for pouring in the oil, by the side of which hole is fixed a fly of gold upon a pivot, turning backwards and forwards for the purpose of closing the orifice. In the same way is also made a nozzle with beak, pipio, for holding the wick, drawn out long and sharpened with the greatest elegance, and so fastened to the crystal that it appears all one piece naturally. The cover also is equally well made. The shape of the shell is that of a great seashell, encompassed all round with its points, which in this vessel are polished and very smooth, so excellently wrought is the crystal. There were also vases and various articles in agate, with certain little animals, 8 in all, and amongst them 2 very beautiful vases, one like the glass ampullae, made big and squat for holding oil and such like liquids, so worked, so beautiful and thin that it is a wonder to behold. The other is in the shape of those ladles with long handles used at Rome for bailing water out of cisterns, and is supposed to be a vessel used by the ancients in their sacrifices, a lingula, for the purpose of ladling the wine out of the great standing crater. Next came 4 little vessels in gold of different kinds, and another little vessel of gold with a cover set round with jewels, a little gold heart that had been a pendant with jewels set in it, a buckle of gold with 6 gems of different kinds set in it, also 24 other buckles of gold of various patterns with little gems set in them. Furthermore, 48 rings and hoops of gold of different shapes, one of them in red hone and various gems. Verga. Verga, like the French verge, signifies a plain gold wire forming a ring having no head. A mouse in Chelidonia, a reddish quartz, is also specified by Suecius, which must be the next item, also 3 little animals in red bone, also 2 eardrops in emerald or plasma with 2 jacinths, 4 small crosses with red and green stones, a pendant in the form of a bunch of grapes made of purple stones, 8 other little gold pendants of different sorts with gems set in them, the remains of a string of crepundia, the usual decoration of little children. Maria had died at the age of 4, being thus early betrothed to Honorius by his father, the all-powerful Stilicho. 3 little gold crosses set with emeralds, a piece of a small, fine necklace with certain green stones strung upon it, another little gold necklace with 24 beads of plasma, another necklace with 12 heads of sapphire cut almond shape, another little necklace of gold wire folded up, raccolta, but broken into 4 pieces, 2 small buttons in gold, 14 little gold wire rings like those of a coat of mail, 3 more crosses with some emeralds, and a round gold plate like an Agnus Dei with these words upon it, Stilicho Vivat. A disc of stamped wax about 3 inches in diameter, 2 bracelets, maniche of gold set with certain red and green stones, 2 large pins or stiletti for the hair, one in gold nearly a palm, 9 inches, long inscribed with these words, Dominvis Honorivis Domina Maria, the other in silver without inscription. There were likewise many fragments of enamels and other stones. Also, silver nails, their heads partly flat, partly in relief, which had fastened down a cover of silver upon a little coffer. Also a small plate of gold with these words written or rather scratched in Greek, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Verael. Laurentius Surius makes out 40 gold rings set with precious stones besides an emerald set in gold, engraved with a head supposed to be that of Honorius, which was valued at 500 gold ducats. We have particularly described all the above-named objects because Claudian, a poet of those times, declares that to the Empress Maria were sent similar rare presents from her betrothed, which perhaps may have formed the greatest part of these things. The words of the poet are, this account enables us to form some notion of the treasures deposited to a greater or less degree in all the tombs of important personages, but more especially in those sumptuous structures raised to the memory of the dead throughout Asia Minor. The same fact sufficiently accounts for the furious onslaught made upon the tombs all over the Roman world, so soon as the change of religion had extinguished the old veneration for the manes and the things consecrated to them, a profanation and a destruction of works of art, which Gregorius Theologus, inspired by a taste and good feeling very surprising in a Byzantine saint, has attacked in 182 very interesting and often poetical epigrams. The same custom was kept up, although we can hardly suppose with any lingering belief in its ancient efficiency, by the Merovingian and Carlovingian successors to the wealth of the Western Empire. The learned Canon Chiflet has left in his interesting book Anastasis Childerici Regis, a complete history of tomb treasures serving to illustrate his account of that of Childeric the Frank, accidentally found in the precincts of Tournai Cathedral, May 1654. The deposit, as far as it could be recovered from the first finders, consisted of the arms of the king, the trappings of his horse, buried with him, all of gold encrusted with garnets, his gold tablets and writing stylus, abundance of golden bees originally stretched over his mantle, which gave that curious idea to Napoleon first, a bull's head for a pendant, the primitive Frankish badge of sovereignty, and lastly, a viaticum in the shape of 100 Byzantine solidi of contemporary emperors, and as many denarii of several and much earlier Caesars. The canon, by zealous perquisitions, succeeded in recovering all these articles, including the most important of all, the royal signet ring of massy gold, engraved with the image and superscription of Childeric for his patron the Archduke Leopold, then governor of the Low Countries. At some subsequent period, the most important of these relics passed into the collection of the Bibliothèque Impériale, where they continued in all due honor until the disastrous robbery of 1808, when it is supposed, with too much probability, that they were melted down along with the rest of the booty. Figure 9. The Abraxas god, engraved in so superior a style that the work must date from the earliest period of the sect. Green jasper, New York. Page 194. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.